Hey everybody, I'm the Rusty Mechanic, and today I'm super excited to talk to you about this guy. We're going to take a look at Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. I know a bunch of us have been anxiously waiting for this guy to come out, and he's finally been released. And whether you've been hunting him down in the US at Target or up here in Canada at Toys R Us, he has become difficult to find. Luckily, I was able to hook into a buddy of mine that owns the Robot Scrapyard, and I snagged it from him. He's local to me in the area, but he does ship around to anywhere in Canada. So if you're looking for that hard to find older figure or even any of the new releases, please go and take a look at his Facebook page. It's easy to find. Just do a search for the Robot Scrapyard and check out what he's got available to you. See if there's anything there that you like. With all that stuff out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so before we get a look at the actual figure, let's just quickly take a look at the box like I normally do. It is a fairly big box, given everything that's in it, since it does have the main figure as well as the trailer, but the artwork on the front of this, very cool. Of course, that iconic scene from Transformers, the movie from the original animated one from '86, where it's the Battle of Autobot City, and Optimus decides that he's going to go in and save everybody, does the whole driving down in the truck, uses jets from underneath to launch himself in the air, transforms, and of course takes out a bunch of the Decepticons as he's rolling in. Super iconic scene, very memorable for all of us, I'm sure. And there is some, I'm hoping I can get this because the box is a bit big, but there is some cool artwork right here on the side. We got Studio Series all up and down the side, 8631. He is a Commander class figure. And then on the other side is actually a full picture of that artwork. And I'm sorry that my camera is not getting all of it. Just don't have a lot of space, but it's a very cool picture on the front. It's actually the picture of him just before he drives into, you know, Autobot City, where he quotes that line of, you know, stopping Megatron no matter the cost, and then the music kicks in and away we go. We know all about that. And then of course we have all the stuff on the back. It says it's 40 steps. It has the backdrop of the Battle of Autobot City, specifically, again, that backdrop scene of where Optimus confronts Megatron for the very last time. And all the accessories, the trailer, roller, the repair bay, shows some of the storage for the accessories in that, his matrix in the chest. We'll go over all this stuff. Again, this is an exceptionally phenomenal figure. I was super impressed by it, given that it is a mainline figure, but they really knocked this one out of the park. And I just want to bring Optimus back in with the trailer briefly, just so that you guys can get a full look at it. Again, I'll go over the figure, we'll do the articulation, we'll do the transformation, I will go over the accessories, I will go over the trailer. Don't worry, I'm going to cover everything. It might be a long review, so strap in. We could be talking about this guy for a while. So let's go ahead and take a look at the figure itself. I'll just bring him in real close here. We'll take a look at the head sculpt. So classic Optimus Prime look here. The blue helmet head with the two antennas on either side, silver gray faceplate, light blue chrome eyes in the middle, the gray venting in the middle of the crest of his helmet. Some nice details on the side of the helmet as well, like some additional miniature antennas or peaks on either side as well. His ears at the bottom of the antenna, just very, very well done. I'll go over the paint real quick. I will tell you again, so I'm struggling with the mainline figures, at least these Studio 86 figures, as to what is painted and what is not. I'm probably releasing this video at the same time that I'm going to release my Studio Series Bumblebee video, and I had the same problem there. I wasn't sure if Bumblebee was painted or not. So if I look at this real close, it looks like the head sculpt is completely painted in blue and silver, and as well as the eyes being the bright blue, almost the same color as what's in the front windows of his chest here. Now it is a chrome blue finish that's in behind the windows, but the windows are clear, so neat of Hasbro to do that so that we don't just have translucent windows and you're not seeing any of the cable or anything in behind his chest. The matrix is inside his chest, so you don't get to see any of that stuff too. So very cool design. I believe that the rest of the red plastic and the blue is just bright, glossy, molded plastic. I don't think it's painted. He does have orange headlights at the top of this cab, right, that make up the chest. These are painted orange. The Autobot logo on his shoulder is painted on thin white lines. The white and the yellow areas here for his legs and his front hips or torso, these are all painted white. The front grille that's here is painted in silver, and the trim areas below his chest that make up his abdomen or his rib cage, these are all painted gray as well. So there is, oh sorry, and the these are like the gas cans or whatever, right, for his alt mode that are on the side of the legs. These are painted silver as well. The front of his toes are painted in gray. So there is a decent amount of paint application, again, given the fact that this is a mainline figure. Again, just looking at it, I think that we're just looking at the red and the blue are molded plastic. Same with his hands. These are not painted either. But some very nice details. Sorry, his smokestacks are painted silver as well, and you have details in the smokestacks, right, for like the vents or the exhaust, if you will. What else do we have? Some details in the side here, like some venting in his rib cage area. Details in the legs, details in his front shins. Looks like we have some more details here on the side of the legs, and down in his calf area as well. It's just some really good work here. Overall, the figure is impressive just standing here on your shelf. Like it does just pop right in front of you when you take it out of the box, when you stand it in front of you for the first time. It's a very impressive looking figure, again, given that it is mainline. I'll just take a look at the side profile. Not overly terrible. I'm not 100% happy with the backpack. It seems like lately we can't seem to get away from Optimus having a weird looking backpack or a chunky backpack. It is what it is, but again, it's not overly distracting from the entire figure. Right, again, this is still an impressive looking figure no matter which angle you look at it from. You know, a display perspective, right? You're going to display this at some angle like this. I doubt that you're ever going to display your figure like this. You're definitely not displaying your figure like this. The backpack is a little kibbly, right? There's a bunch of stuff that's sort of hanging out here. It does clean up in the fact that it packs away nicely. But if you're looking at it from the back, it does look a little kibbly. There is a port here, a butt plug, if you will, in the back of this blue area here that I'm assuming you could use any type of flight stand or something if you have one that would peg into the back of this. Again, getting that iconic pose, if you want, of him leaping in the air at the Battle of Autobot City and taking out a bunch of Decepticons in the process. Again, I could probably talk about this a whole bunch, but I'm not going to go into it any more than what I already have. It is an impressive looking figure. The one other nitpicky thing I will mention is that his smokestacks are not pinned in any way. There is a small tab that's right here on his shoulder, if you will, and there is like a slot. It's hard to see. I'm not sure the camera will pick it up. There's like a slot in the smokestack that should line up with that, but it doesn't actually peg in. So I've noticed when I'm manipulating it that these will just flop around. When I'm transforming it, they'll flop around. When I'm posing them, they'll flop around. So it's a little disappointing. I would have liked that they were fixed. I don't know why they're not. It's not like they interfere with the transformation. It's not like they interfere with any of the articulation. So I don't know why Hasbro decided to go with that. Anyway, that aside, since we're talking about the articulation, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So he is on, I believe it's a type of ball joint, because he does have forward looking down a little bit. He can look back a little bit. He can do a complete 360 with the head. Shoulders, he can go out 90 degrees. It is on a type of universal, so you do get 360 around. We've got a bicep swivel for 360. We have an elbow bend. An elbow bend, see what I mean? These just flop around. Elbow bend at 90 degrees. We do have wrist rotation, 360. It is a fixed thumb here for the weapon, but the fingers are double articulated. If you can get, there we go. They're double articulated, meaning that there is a pin at the first knuckle, a pin at the second knuckle, and the index finger is separate from the rest. There is a weird gap that is going on that allowed them to create this articulation. So you notice in his finger that there will be a gap, but I mean that's kind of nitpicky. You're probably not going to notice that in any type of posing that you're going to be doing. What else do we have? We'll get the arms out of the way. So we do have a waist swivel, 360. We do not have an ab crunch, so that is unfortunate. We do not have an ab crunch there. That's a bit of a fail, I think, for a figure this size. I think they should have been able to work in something to allow for the ab crunch. Leg does go out all the way to the right, or to one side. We have hip skirts in the front and the rear. Clear them out of the way, and the leg will go all the way back. Leg will go all the way forward. We have a universal joint here, meaning that we're going to get a thigh swivel on here as well. We have a knee bend that goes past 90 degrees, and what is nice is very little gapping that goes on here, and in fact they shaped the bottom part of the upper thigh to curve in, as you can see. So it gives a nice shape or flow from the upper leg to the lower leg when you are posing it and bending it. And for the feet, we do have an ankle rocker in. It is tabbed into place, so you just have to pop it loose. That means that we don't have an ankle rocker out because this full panel comes all the way down, and there is no toe tilt forward, although there is a toe tilt down, which is part of the transformation for putting him into truck mode, but it's there. So that is all of the articulation. Just a quick note on the articulation too, because I almost completely forgot about it. He does actually have butterfly joints in the shoulders, and they are tight as well, so you just want to pull forward on the shoulder. So there you go. So obviously he can reach. Ah man, I'll tell you they're tight. Right, so that he can get some, cool dynamic poses reaching across the front of his chest. It does look a little bit funky from the top, but the option is there, and very nice addition for, again, a figure like this to have butterfly joints in the shoulders. Okay, so before we get into the transformation, let's just go over some of the accessories, because as you saw when I had the trailer over here, it does come with a good number of accessories, and there's even some weapon storage that goes on with the trailer, but we'll get into that later. But we'll start off with the coolest accessory, I think, anyway, and of course the most nostalgic. So in his chest, he does have the Matrix with the Matrix chamber, and you can open both of his chests. There's a thumbnail latch that you can actually hook onto to open up his chest plate, and then of course you have his chest chamber that actually holds the Matrix that just flips straight up, and there is the Matrix just inside. I'll bring it in closer just so that you can take a look at it, but it does just there's just a peg or a tab on either side that the Matrix hooks onto, as well as that center peg that goes into the back of the Matrix. I'll just show that right there. There we go. So it is a hole that's in the back of the Matrix that goes onto that peg, and I'll just bring this in closer because there is some very cool. I'm just taking another close look at it. Yes, so the whole thing is painted, and I hope, yeah, there you go. So you can see, and the center is actually, I mean, it looks like a crystal, but it is just translucent blue plastic. But the light does shine through it, obviously, and gives it a nice effect. A lot of cool details in this. The finger holes for the Matrix all along the handle, along with some lines in the Matrix. The center chamber of the Matrix itself is sectioned off into multiple lines. details in there if you look real close. It is a very cool accessory right out of the movie, and I know my camera is having trouble focusing on it because it's so small, but it is a very cool accessory. It's almost worth getting this figure alone just for this way. Now, I don't have any other main line figures to compare it to, because maybe this Matrix is just a copy from Earthrise or something. I doubt it, because it doesn't scale the same with Earthrise, but it's a very well done rendition of the Matrix. So let's see, let's just pull the trailer over here quick. Let's take a look at his axe and his rifle. I'll just pull them out of the trailer. And so, of course, as you can imagine, it's very simple to do this, right? You want to just open up his forearm. Make sure that the fist is in, the hand is in the fist position, and just rotate this back, which of course then exposes a peg. Close the forearm back up, and as you can imagine, there is, right, a peg hole in the bottom of the axe, which just pegs right onto there like that. So we have an Energon axe. It is basically, you know, semi-transparent molded plastic. It is a soft plastic. It's very flexible. Nothing super special there, but it does have a nice, it does have like edging around the edge of the axe itself, all around, and a point there for the top of the axe. It does look very nice. This blaster, his ion blaster rifle, is also super outstanding. Probably my second most favorite accessory that he has. It is completely painted in like a gunmetal gray. Not a high gloss, but well, yeah, I guess it is a high gloss finish. Venting in the back of the shoulder bumper here, or the forearm bumper here, if you will. Let's see what else. Like, we've got line details, right? We've got chamber details. There's details in the clip, if you will. Lots of details up front in the barrel, all up and down. Basically, like a sight here. You know, a point for the end of the barrel. It's very well done, very cool, nicely painted, nicely sculpted, very cool accessory. And of course, this will just peg into his hand just by opening up all of the fingers. And like I said, the thumb is fixed, so you can peg this into his hand with the fingers open, and it does not fall out. And then of course you can just close his fingers around, having the finger open for not being on the trigger or closed for being on the trigger, whichever you like. But there is his rifle. So okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the transformation now. Obviously, as you saw, doing the Energon axe accessory, we're just going to start with the forearm. So you're just opening up the forearm like that, and then rotating the fist in, close up the forearm, and click it closed. We'll collapse the arm, so you want to rotate the forearm around 180 degrees, and then you want to bend this 90 degrees. And as you'll notice, as I'm going through this, the smokestacks will flop around out of the way. I'll show that again. So we'll rotate this around and then fold it up 90 degrees like that. We'll move into the backpack. So there is a panel right here that tabs into the backpack to close it all up. So you just want to flip this up 90 degrees like that. You can then bring these two panels down, which are part of the wheel assembly, and rotate them out like that. I do like to actually rotate the arms up, just gets them out of the way as well. So you want to make sure that these panels are out all the way. They are on a double pivot, so you want them to be 90 degrees with the bottom edge there, not down here like this. The pin should be out to the side here, so rotate those like that. There's two panels that are underneath. You want to flip those all the way out and just so you can see what they look like. So essentially you end up with the door assembly with the mirror. Let's see, then you want to pull the rest of the backpack assembly away. So it is tabbed in behind the head here. So if you just pull back on this part, it will untab from the back of the head, and then you want to pull it out 90 degrees like that. We'll move on to the head. So before you flip the base of the head around, it does just drop into the back of the chest area here. I have noticed that the antennas do move, so I tend to just pivot them forward slightly, because I find they tend to get hung up down here in the bottom as you're trying to rotate it in, and then you can just rotate the head around 180. And the other interesting part about this, I'm sure you're hearing me grunt here, is so when this tabs into place, it's a very hard tab for some reason, and I find it requires a lot of pressure here and on the head sculpt just to get it to come around and snap into place. So as you're pushing down on this part, push in on the face, and it will help to get it to click into place, or clunk into place, if you will. This is tabbed on top, so you just want to flick it out, and it is on a double hinge, so make sure that when you bring it out that it is flush with the top of the cab. Then we can, so these side panels here will lock the entire upper torso into place, basically. You'll see it in a minute, but this part, the upper third of the chest and the middle third of the chest actually rotate independently of each other as part of the transformation, and these panels lock them into place. I found the easiest way to get at them is to actually rotate the torso 90 degrees so that you can get your finger in here to pull up this panel, and then do the same thing again the other way, and you can reach in here and pull up this panel. Okay, once you have that done, then you're going to want to rotate the lower torso around 180 degrees. We can open up this where the butt plug is, basically, and bring it down flush with the legs. And then you want to rotate the upper part of the torso around 180 degrees so that now you have this configuration like this. Bring these two flaps back down, which will just get them out of the way. And we'll pull, we'll bring this, the front of the truck down. And we need to get at the rest of the grill to fill in the space, so it's actually folded in behind this. And I find that the easiest way to get at this is to actually pull down on the front of the truck, and you'll feel it untab from underneath the windows, and then put your finger in behind the grill and push out, and it'll get it to rotate out 90 degrees so that you can reach in, pull out the rest. Okay. Don't flip this up and close it yet. We need to get the bottom part of the cab tabbed in to be flush with the top of the cab. Easiest way to do this is this hinge part here actually tabs into the main body just under the chest. If you put your thumb right here and push up and back, you'll feel it click into place, and the front of the cab will end up going flush with the windows. Then we can close up the grille. We'll move on to the arms, which transform just like they do in the G1 cartoon. So you want to rotate them. You want to rotate them back 90 degrees. And, oh, sorry. I knew there was something I forgot. So this rear grille needs to be flipped up out of the way 90 degrees, and then either side of what was his stomach area, if you will, is on a double hinged arm. So the two of these will collapse together in the center. I will tell you that the first few times I do this, these were extremely tight and were hard to manipulate. So just be careful with them as you are manipulating them on the arms, but they will pin together just like that. Now we can move on to the arms, right? So bring the arms back at the shoulders, rotate them down 90 degrees, This tab will peg into a slot right there, just like that. And then you can bring the bottom half of the forearm around as well. And there is a, not sure if the camera will see it, but there is a tab that's in there around his waist that will peg into the front edge of the forearm, just like that, and just make sure that that's tabbed in as well. So I'll just show it again. So you want to bring the shoulder back, rotate it down so that it lines up with the tab at the top, then rotate the forearm in, and then just make sure that it tabs in right there. Just like that. So I'll have it tabbed in here and you'll have it tabbed in there. Give everything a squeeze to make sure it's all together. And then we just flip up the sides of the cab and they peg in very easily. Flip up the sides of the cab, pegs in very easily. We'll move down to the legs. So starting with the front panels, we'll flip down to the side here. There is a tab that's right here that pegs into that slot in the front. Double hinge here, so we're just doing a rotation just like that. Click it into place. Click that into place. There's a slot that's in here behind the heel and a tab that's in here behind the heel that's folded down. Both of them have basically a fingernail slot that you can put your fingernail on and pull out. You just rotate those out from behind the heel 90 degrees. Rotate this out 90 degrees. And of course, as you can see, those will allow the legs to tab together. You can flip the feet down, flip the heels down, and then we can, oh, I missed. There we go. We'll tab the two legs together like that. From here, we want to rotate the cab 90 degrees to the legs. It is pinned just in behind the grill here, so you want to break it away from there, and it's as simple as holding the cab and holding the legs, and you'll feel it pop and rotate it 90 degrees like that. This panel has a tab on either side. It tabs into just inside either wheel, so you can bring that down 90 degrees. And as you do bring it down, you do have to pull the wheel out a bit. There is a bit of a clearance issue there, but once you get the wheels to clear and squeeze them together, it will lock that into place. Flip up these two panels here that are on the back of the truck. You'll notice that each one of them has a very large tab. It pegs into just behind the cab here, so you can bring those forward. And you do kind of have to rotate the cab forward a little bit just for the clearance. Line up the tabs with the slot, and when you have them, then just press everything together like that, and it will click into place. This entire panel with the gas can does flip around 180 degrees. There is a clearance issue here with this, and you want to start this off by rotating it 90 degrees like this. This panel rotates around 180 so that the red part is facing out. If you continue to rotate this forward, you'll notice that there's a clearance issue with the tire, so you just need to rotate that panel up a little bit. Continue the rotation up, and then flatten out the panel so that this tab fits in underneath the cab. Push up, and now you'll see it completes the wheel well there for that side. I'll show it again on the other side. So break this away, rotate it 90 degrees, rotate this panel 180, rotate it a little bit more, bring this all the way up, straighten out this panel, and squeeze the tab into place. Last tip is the wheels. They have tabs on the other side, just like these ones that are pegged inside. So you just want to push on these tabs to get it to break away. Rotate them around 180 degrees and you'll feel it click in on the other side, just like that. So break this away, rotate, and there you go. Very cool looking rendition, very cool looking alt mode. Wheel details are really nice and the rims are painted. The wheels themselves, so this is another one. No, it is hard plastic. I kept thinking it was like a rubberized plastic, but it's not. It is just hard plastic. But obviously they roll very well. No movement with clearance, right? It rolls very freely. Everything's nicely tucked away. You know, there may be some paneling going on here, but there's still some, you know, they still maintain some details and things like that. That's really nice. You know, these galvanized details, if you will, in the gas can. The mirrors are painted and they're fixed plastic, so no concern with breaking them off. It is actually very hard plastic. Painted up front in the headlights and the grille, right? We've got some light details, again, some galvanized screws or bolts, if you will, fog lights. The entire bumper is painted silver. You know, again, you have the lights at the top there. What else? Doesn't look too bad from the back. I mean, you can obviously see some remnants from the robot motor sitting here in the back of the cab. There's ladder or steps here in the side. I didn't even notice that before. That's cool. Steps here as well to go up to the door. Handles, right, for getting in and out of the truck, like bolts all around the details. Just some cool details going on throughout this entire alt mode. I'm gonna talk about these feet, right? The heels of the taillights. Right? Everyone is saying that these are backwards, right? They've been installed backwards or upside down or something because everyone believes that this edge of blue, right, that is here should be on top, right? So that we should be seeing this on top of the foot and not this on top of the foot. I gotta tell you that I'm not necessarily sure that this is backwards, or, you know, that maybe it was a design choice by Hasbro, because whether it's positioned like this, like if this was facing up or this was facing up, I think it would look just as good. So I don't really care, and I'm definitely not going through the effort of popping out the pins just to reverse them because everybody believes that they're reversed. But I gotta say that I don't think they are. I think this was a design choice by Hasbro. Whether it's the right design choice or not, I don't know. But I don't see anything wrong with this. I don't think there's enough of a problem here for us to be going through the effort of anybody going through the effort of popping out the pins and reversing these heels. I think that's just a group of people that have decided to find something wrong with this figure, which is very hard to do. And that is the thing that they've decided to complain about. But I have no complaints about this alt mode or the robot mode, with the exception of these things. These things are annoying. But anyway, there it is. So let's put Optimus truck mode aside for a second, and let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer. And I am going to just take these accessories out for now, and I will talk about them. I'm going to take Roller out. I'm going to take Repair Bay Robot Guy out. And we're going to talk about this guy. So the trailer does come closed up in the box, and it is very simple, right? I mean, it's and very reminiscent of the G1 toy. So we have 4 tabs on either side of the main panel, and this just folds in half and immediately slaps together. And then the door for the trailer will come up and snap into place, which closes up the entire trailer. The trailer does have legs at the bottom that will allow it to stand up like that. It also has, you can put these away, and they do actually sorry, I'll just show that real quick. They do actually tab into place here so that they kind of lock away. When you have it transformed into battle station mode or whatever you want, when it's in this position, you can swing these out as well, and they pivot out 90 degrees, and then these will rotate down 90 degrees. So you have, you know, the bigger legs, and then it ends up looking like that. And of course, if we open the trailer back up again, those legs get hidden away so that it looks like that. And as you saw, right, this can also be stood up like this for a repair bay, where you take the, I'm just going to separate these two, I'll show that in a second, where you can take the, you know, repair robot, if you will, and it does have some articulation, again, just like the original G1 toy, right, where it raises up on an arm. It has this radar satellite communication dish that flips up. It has the robot arm that can rotate out as well as back and forth. It does pivot here as well. And the claw will open up like that. So you have all of this articulation that's going on here. There's even the cockpit even opens up, which is kind of neat. No details inside or anything. But it is clear, translucent blue plastic there for the cockpit. This is all molded plastic. High gloss for the blue, just like on Optimus, and then it's just flat gray for the rest of the plastic, but it's neat. So if we do this, there's two pegs here in the bottom, and they do just go into those holes at the top there, so that you can have this, right? And then you have, obviously, repair, robot, arm, etc., etc. So the other thing that's neat about this this accessory as well is that you can, I can't remember if the original toy did this or not, but sorry, before I get into that, let's just take a quick look at roller as well. So it does come with the roller, all silver painted, some details in the front here, seats, right, 4 seats, 6 wheels that are just black plastic. Bottom part is just molded plastic, but the top half of him is painted. Rolls very nicely. Right. No problems there. And what's cool, of course, is, as I'm sure you've already figured out just from looking at it, is these 2 holes, which are the exact same ones that are on the trailer. So then the repair robot can actually peg into the top of roller. And then you have this craziness going on. Also very cool stuff. And of course you can, you know, collapse it all the way down so it looks like this and fold everything away. And if you want to have him involved in the battle, then we have these 2 blast effects. Again, I love blast effects. Blasters, obviously, 2 peg holes that are in the bottom, and they can actually fit on the end of the repair robot, so that you end up with that effect, which is very cool. And then, of course, the last accessory that it comes with, and I'll go into the weapon storage here in a minute because it is very well done. And I'm kind of giving away part of it here because I forgot to take it out. If you flip this rear panel down, there's actually a storage area in the wheel well, the rear wheel wells, for the final accessory, the third coolest accessory. Maybe the second coolest. Jury's still out. I'll put the trailer over here. So these actually come separated in 2 pieces, and of course they just peg into each other. There is a left and a right to these, and I'm just trying to remember how they go right now. I believe it's like this. We'll check it out here right now. So in the bottom of that red panel that pegs into the wheels is 2 slots, and each one of them has a tab at the top. So you wanna peg it in so that the longest part of the base is towards the back of the cab, and that's how you get the appropriate angle and support for the cab. so that, again, you are recreating that iconic scene from the movie where he rolls into Autobot City and takes out all of the Decepticons. Not all of them, but a lot of them. That's cool, and it's translucent orange plastic, just like the axe. A little thicker though, a little denser, right? So you can't see completely through it. And interestingly enough, it is also soft. So probably just easier for manipulation and all that stuff. So let's take a look at look, that smokestack flipped all the way over. That's annoying. Okay. So let's take a look at the weapon storage as well, because they have done some very good work with the weapon storage, and I might as well start again with the bottom panel. So it's just tabbed in right here below the door. It is a tight fit, so getting it to separate is a bit of a pain, but just pull down and away. I'm not even sure I had that tabbed in properly. Let me try it again. So you just want to pull straight back on it, and it will just release this bottom area, and you just want to put them in opposing the flame effect in opposing positions here. With the bases out to either side, just like that, and it just fits in there nicely. Close this back up, flip this panel back up, and press it into place, and it's locked in. So we'll open up the rear door and the two halves. So as you can see, I'm going to stand it up again. As you can see in here, there's a bunch of these slots, and there's tabs and things as well. All of the accessories that it comes with can be stored securely in the trailer. We'll start with the blaster. So the blaster has this slot, so it can peg into either side. Now, depending on which way which side you decide to go with the blaster, the axe will go on the opposite side. So it does just peg in just like that, and as you can see, it's very secure, right? So if you put the rifle on this side, then the axe has to go on the other side, and the axe has a hole. Try to get the light on it. There's a hole right here in the base, and so there's a peg right there. There's a peg up here above this holding area for the axe, so this hole will go on that peg, while the arm of the axe, or the center of the axe, if you will go into those two areas there to hold it into place. Again, very secure. What you're hearing is the flame effect bouncing around in the bottom of the trailer. So same thing with the blast effects. The blast effects also have a hole in them right there. It's funny that the light's not picking up. Anyway, there is a hole in the base of each one. So there's a peg here, and then of course the blast effect, the laser part, will go into those clamp areas, or those holding areas. And these are soft molded plastic as well. So if you notice that one of these actually looks like it's bent, and that's why. And this one will peg onto there like that and go into that clamp area like that. Again, very secure, right? So it holds everything in place. And then the same thing with I thought this was a nice touch as well. So as I showed, right, these two pegs go into the trailer and allows the repair robot arm to peg into place. So then you might be wondering to yourself, what about poor Roller? Is he just loose in here? No, absolutely not. Roller has two slots here, and the repair robot base has two tabs right here. So Roller actually pegs into the repair robot base and is also very secure. So some very cool thinking in regards to the storage of all the accessories, because as you guys know, I hate unnecessaries that you can't store anywhere and have to leave in the box and all that stuff. Final thing, let's just go ahead and peg the trailer onto Optimus so we can get the full effect. And I am just now remembering that his rifle stores in, oh come on, oops, there. His rifle stores in his robot mode. I'll see if I can show that in a second here. So obviously peg right here, hole in the middle rear, just drops into place. And then you have a free rolling Optimus with his trailer. And I'm just trying to remember now that I said that about the... I don't see it, it's hidden away in the back somewhere. I forgot to show that. So his rifle does store onto his back. It's in the instructions if you take a look at it, but it is this slot that's here will allow the rifle to peg onto the back of him in robot mode. The rifle does also store in the truck, so you can actually take the magazine and it goes into either one of these squares on the back, so that you can actually have his blaster sitting on the back of the truck as well, like this, if you don't want it in the trailer. But I think it looks, I mean, it's obviously neater and cleaner if you just put it into the trailer and have everything nicely tucked away, clean, nothing odd sticking out. There he is, right out of our childhood. And that'll be it, everybody. I mean, again, I can't say enough about this figure. If you don't have him and you got an opportunity to grab him, even if you're not a mainline collector, it's probably worth grabbing him just to check him out. It's a really cool figure, really nice transformation, really well molded, really well constructed. Minor nitpick about the smokestacks, they don't sit into place, so they do flop around, but it's really minor in the overall scheme of things. They really did knock this one out of the park. It is super impressive. So again, if you can find one somewhere, go track one down. It's definitely worth having in your collection, in my opinion. That's it, everybody. I do just want to remind everybody, you can go down below and check the links in the description down below for ways that you can help to support the channel if you're so interested, if you enjoy these videos and would like to see more content. Of course, all the links to all of my socials are down below as well, so you can find those down below. And as well, if you haven't seen the video yet, I am doing a monthly raffle now, or a raffle giveaway, if you will. I do have a video on my YouTube channel that I've featured at the top, so you can go and check that out to see how it all works. But it is in support of Kennedy's Village, which is the nonprofit organization that my co-host of the Do You Even Transform Bro podcast is part of. His name is Eric B., as well as Derek B., another co-host. Both of their daughters have sickle cell disease, and you can go in and look for information on that on Google. It's very easy to find. But Eric's nonprofit organization, Kennedy's Village, is there to try to bridge the gap between research and care to help families and their family members that have sickle cell to find ways to cope with this disease, and maybe even one day we can find a cure for this disease altogether. All that aside, you can check all that information out, again, on my YouTube channel or in the description down below. And with all that aside, again, I am the Rusty Mechanic. I thank you very much. We'll see you next time.